Yes, sir. We shall start at 10. After a brief introduction, we'll just start exactly at 10. Please hold on, sir. Yes, sir, your presentation is visible.
participants about how to construct the blockchain. The blockchain gets different participants of the blockchain ecosystem. So therefore, there has to be a consensus among the participants where majority will have to decide, what should go into the blockchain. Consensus algorithm is very important. Data structure of the blocks differ from one blockchain to the other, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. So therefore, data structure of blockchain is important, but not as fundamental to the idea of the blockchain. Hash and public key cryptography consensus are fundamental to a blockchain idea of blockchain. Smart contract. The smart contracts are programs that run distributedly on a blockchain ecosystem that gives an immense power of automation through smart contract coding. So that's also important. But we got some response. Certainly, most of you got the hash and public key crypto part right. Consensus and smart contract coding probably should go after them, but that's okay. Data structures of the blocks are slightly less important. But let's go to the mm, thing. So proof of work is a consensus algorithm in Bitcoin, right? So proof of work consensus, you might have heard that this is also called mining, right? So Bitcoin mining. So the question is that whether that is fully secure, or it's has some security issue, or it's highly secure. So I'm assuming that some of you have some idea. You might have heard also in the news that Bitcoin blockchain burns an immense amount of energy, almost as much as some smaller countries like Ireland or Greece, uh, to actually keep the Bitcoin system going. So proof of work is very expensive, and it because it requires that kind of electricity, it probably is also very bad for the climate. But the question is, with all that, are we getting high security? And that question here, it seems like majority of you think that no, it is not fully secure, and that is the correct, I think. So I think you're kind of on the right track. Let's go proof of stake. So you might have also read in the news that Ethereum blockchain, they actually used to use proof of work until 2022. And then in 2022, they went for proof of stake. So proof of stake basically says that whoever has more stake into the network, basically they have more investment into the network, they get to decide what goes into the blockchain, right? So proof of stake is a different algorithm. It basically has the advantage that proof of work, as I said, requires a lot of energy, and that has been criticized for using too much of electricity, and because of that, pollution, etc. Even though today OpenAI uses a lot more energy and power for running the GPT system, or their LLMs, than even Bitcoin. So we are actually doing a lot of computation to this day with many LLMs and all that stuff. So we actually are burning a lot of power, and in the process, actually probably harming the climate. But that's a different question. Here, proof of stake is also not very secure. Not they're pretty secure, but not necessarily fully secure. So we'll see talk about that. The third are called Byzantine fault tolerant consensus, or BFT. So again, the same question, like, what do you think about this? Highly secure, or may have some security problem, or not secure? So we are going 50-50 now, 2:1, 2:2. So, so let's see what others think. So there we now so far we have talked about three types of consensus algorithms. One is proof of work, one is proof of stake, another is Byzantine fault tolerant consensus. Different blockchains use different consensus algorithms. So we'll come to that very soon. Um, so let's move on. Number of transactions per second in Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin, the number of transactions per second is a number that is between 0 to 10. So as you can see from the question itself, that it's only it has to be somewhere between 0 to 10, and in that UPI, for example, UPI right now has a transaction of about 10,000 transactions per second. So many people, citizens in India, they are using UPI, and almost 10,000 UPI transactions are happening every second. And the UPI NPCI, the National Payment Corporation of India, they are actually preparing for 100,000 transactions per second in the future. Whereas Bitcoin has a number that is between 0 to 10. The actual number is about 6 to 7. So Bitcoin as a payment system is unlikely to succeed, right? So when you create a digital payment system, you cannot really have that on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has 6 to 7. Now there are ways to actually do what is called a second layer blockchain or layer 2 blockchain. So people are doing layer 2 Bitcoin, like for example, they're doing Lightning Network. Now layer 2 Bitcoin also doesn't give you anywhere near 10,000 transactions per second. It may give you a few hundreds, maybe thousand, which is also not enough. But then whatever security Bitcoin provides, the layer 2 does not provide even that. So there are possibilities of payments which are not going to be finalized, which will not be settled. So these are the problems of Bitcoin as a payment system. Now people said, okay, Ethereum is better. Ethereum has proof of stake. So what is the transaction rate in Ethereum? So between 0 to 50. So 0 to 50 right now with proof of stake, etc., it's still below 30 per second, right? So now the problem is that if it is below 30 per second, now there are layer 2 Ethereums, like for example, Polygon is a layer 2 Ethereum blockchain. But again, layer 2s are less secure, and layer 2s are still not getting to the level where UPI or Visa, MasterCard, they are doing almost worldwide. They're handling 20 to 25,000 transactions per second. So if you want to do a mass scale payment system in today's world, then you will need a much larger scalability than you can handle with these kind of things. Number of transactions per second in Hyperledger. Hyperledger is a Linux Foundation, originally done by IBM blockchain. It's a blockchain that was created for enterprise applications, not for open public access like Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. It's what we call enterprise blockchain or permissioned blockchain. So here, people who can actually interact in that blockchain have proper identity established, unlike Bitcoin and Ethereum, where anybody can hide their real identity and use a cryptographic key, a public key, to actually identify themselves. So therefore, this one is often preferred by the various enterprise applications. This one has, what we have seen in our experiments, about 1,000 transactions per second. People have reported about 3,000 transactions per second, and IBM has claimed a lot more than we have actually seen. So IBM has claimed 10,000 or more transactions per second, but we haven't seen it. Of course, it depends on various conditions, the computational capabilities of the nodes and so on and so forth, but it's still not reaching the level that we need them to reach to become a real payment ecosystem. Okay, so I'll stop here. I got some idea about where we are in terms of the ideas of blockchain technology, crypto technology, and so on. So now I'm going to do the actual presentation. So so first of all, let me first tell you, like for those who are not introduced to the idea of a blockchain, what is a blockchain, right? So suppose let's start with a very simple example. Suppose you have a couple of roommates, and all these roommates that you have are actually these roommates, and you actually make payments to each other for various things, right? So somebody loans you some money, somebody spends money buying something, and then you owe them and all that stuff, right? So how can you keep track of, at the end of the month you have to settle the accounts, right? So how can you do this? So one way to do this is to actually maintain a uh, a kind of a account book with one of the roommates, and whenever something happens, he writes down who spent what amount and so on, who gave how much money to who and all that stuff, and at the end of the month you can settle, right? So that's one way to do that. But suppose that particular roommate who has kept this information, who is maintaining this information, since he is in charge, he might change some of the transactions to his favor, to so that he has to pay less. Now at the end of the month, one of you challenge him and say that, well, I don't think that this is what it is. This transaction was of a different amount, or this transaction was never made, or this transaction was not recorded, etc. So that's the problem of trusting a single entity, right? So you are trusting, if unless you have a very good trust with the trusted entity, you may have this kind of dispute. So now at this point, since nobody else has kept the information, so there is no way to actually figure out whether the accusation is correct or not. But suppose instead all of you decide that all of you will independently keep the account. So anytime an expense is carried out in the household, everybody is told and everybody keeps that in their book. At the end of the month, let's say there are four of you, so four of you come together and compare your books. And if the books do not uh, match, then you will say, okay, so you forgot this, but other three have recorded this, or this amount seems to be wrong in your book, but other three has the correct one, and so on. So thereby you can actually fix this issue of not having the right information, or having to trust a third party. So this process of keeping a ledger in multiple copies in a distributive fashion among all the stakeholders, and then making sure that every transaction is correctly recorded in each of these copies, is it seems to be a way, although a very expensive way, because now everybody has to put in their mind and energy into doing this. But if you do this, then you have a better chance of not having this kind of dispute, right? So the blockchain idea is exactly the same. So what Satoshi Nakamoto said in 2008, when there was banking crisis, he said that, okay, so the reason why we have this crisis, and the reserve banks are central banks of various organizations, various countries, are the bailing out the different different banks that are failing. How are they bailing out? They're actually printing fiat currency, printing dollar or printing pound or printing euro, and they're giving that money to this banks to bail out the banks that has done bad business practices, and thereby they have gone into loss, and they are not sustainable. So the US central bank or European central bank is giving them money to actually restart the economy, because banks will have to give out loans and stuff. If they don't have money, they cannot give the loan, and if there is no loan, then there is no business in the country, and the economy will spiral down. So therefore, they are saying that, okay, so I'll print more money, and this has a name, quantitative easing and all that stuff in economics. So you create more fiat currency and give to the bank. Now, what that means is that when you print more money, you are devaluing your own currency, right? Because you are actually creating a more supply of money, but then that means that your everything will become more expensive, and the inflation will increase, and the money that you have in the bank, with the inflation, that real value of the money that you have in your bank will decrease. So what that means is that if I had savings in my bank, and my government decides to print more money, then my savings will naturally go down in its real value. So what Satoshi Nakamoto said is that that is not right, right? So I am allowing my government, without any fault of mine, to actually devalue my money. So therefore, the money should not be created by the government, and I will create a monetary system in which the money is created by all stakeholders. Anybody who wants to be part of this monetary system, they will all participate in creating the money, as well as keeping track of the monetary transaction system. Because if you want to run a monetary system, you have to have banks keep track of all the transactions, right? Whenever we give somebody money, or we withdraw money, the banks know that how much money I still have, and what money I have given to who, and all that stuff. So if all banks come together, entire economy can be figured out, except the cash part. The cash part is a small part. So therefore, Satoshi Nakamoto said that, okay, so I have to create a digital money, and this money should be inflation proof. That is, whenever this money cannot be created just because I want to create more money. This money can only be created by doing a process called mining, and this mining is basically when a consensus takes place. The whoever actually becomes responsible for the consensus, he is rewarded some number of Bitcoin, and that is how money is created. And that's why this process of consensus, this proof of work, is called the mining process, right? So whoever is getting whoever is responsible for the consensus in creating a new block is called the miner who wins the reward. So when somebody wins a reward, new money is created, and that's only way the new money is created. Further, he stipulated that this money creation will taper off. This money creation initially was 50 Bitcoin per time a mining succeeds. Then in 4 years, it becomes 25 Bitcoins per every time a mining succeeds. Then it becomes 12.5. Then it became 6.75, and now it is 3.625 or something, basically half. So every 4 years, it becomes half. So now you can see that this will become a geometric series, which eventually will become zero, right? So at the end, there will be no more Bitcoins created through any kind of mining, and therefore you will get at the end only 21 million Bitcoin. So that's it, right? So Bitcoin ecosystem right now has created up to about 19 million, and they have 2 more millions to mine. So now the mining reward is much less. So over time, the entire mining, rewards will go away, and all the money will be fixed, right? So it's like gold, right? So the money will be fixed. Now, how do you keep track of transactions? And this keeping track of transaction is done by broadcasting every transaction. So if I want to give you some Bitcoin, I have to tell the entire ecosystem, the entire network of participants that I am now giving so much money, so much Bitcoin to this guy. Now this information gets broadcast to every node that is participating in the process. So computers, there may be thousands of computers who are listening to this broadcast, and once they listen to this, they will keep that information in a list called mempool. So they will all keep this information in a mempool. After some time, these participants, they will say, okay, I have now like many transaction information that I have heard, they have been broadcast. Now I want to create a new block. I want to keep this transaction information in a block, and this will be the new block. So the blockchain is a sequence of blocks. So each block contains the information of few thousand transactions. So I want to create the new block. So I look at my mempool, and I see, okay, here are the transactions that I need to actually put into the block. So every participant will try to create a block. Now, as I said, that there is a reward associated with creating a block. If your block gets accepted by everybody, then you get, initially you used to get 50 Bitcoins, then 25 Bitcoins, and so on. So now you get some Bitcoin. So I want to make the block. So since there will be a contention about who makes the block, so therefore what I'll do is I will actually make sure that that not everybody can create the block. So there will be a competition about who can create the block, and this competition will be resolved by everybody trying to solve a puzzle. So there will be a puzzle. The puzzle is that you have to compute a hash of the block that you are creating, but you have to add an additional random number into the block, and together when you hash, that hash should be less than some number, and this number is changes over time. So therefore everybody will have to try to solve that puzzle before their block can be taken, and this is what is called proof of work. So everybody does a lot of computation to compute the hash puzzle, and then whoever solves the hash puzzle first, he then broadcasts the block with the solution of the puzzle. Now it is very easy to check whether the solution of the puzzle is indeed a solution, even though solving the puzzle is very, very time consuming and energy consuming. So whoever does this will win the block, and then they will also be rewarded with some Bitcoins. So some Bitcoins are being created. This whole process is called mining. So this mining process requires, initially you could do the mining with a laptop, but over time there is another fixed thing in Bitcoin, that is a block the block creation time should be 10 minutes. So that is a fixed thing created by Satoshi. So therefore what happened is that this puzzle has to become harder and harder over time, because initially the puzzle needed with a laptop needed 10 minutes. But then people realized that obviously the laptops also improved, because this thing started in 2009. Between 2009 and 2024, the laptops have become more powerful. There are GPUs, there are various computational instructions, and so on and so forth. So therefore now, to solve the same puzzle that was being solved in 2009, it will not take 10 minutes. It will probably take less than a minute. So therefore, the puzzle has become harder and harder. The threshold that the puzzle has to cross has become smaller and smaller, and such that roughly it takes 10 minutes no matter how the hardware improves. So now it has become such that you need a huge amount of hardware to actually even solve the puzzle. Therefore, only a few people, in fact, what we call miners, who are actually capable of solving these puzzles. Others cannot solve this puzzle because of the fact that they do not have enough computational power and enough energy supply, and so the mining process has become very, very expensive. So this is one of the problem that Bitcoin is seeing, that most of the Bitcoins have been mined by about 5 mining groups. So the miners again come together, and they actually do what is called mine pools. So there are about 5 mine pools who own almost almost 90% of the Bitcoins. So the majority of the Bitcoins are owned by some special people. Now, the other issue is that Bitcoin allows you to not tell the world who you are really. So I can use a function to create a private key and a public key using RSA algorithm, and then I will use my public key as my Bitcoin address. So I will say I am so and so, but that so and so is a sequence of numbers. So therefore, the world will know me, like when I am doing a transaction, the world will know me as that number. Then they are not knowing who is behind this. Uh, and then on top of that, the same person can create as many identities as possible, right? So they can create many pairs of private and public key, and therefore they will have many addresses. So same person will have many addresses. In fact, every time you make a payment, you create a new address. Therefore, for whenever somebody wants, let's say somebody takes a ransomware payment with blockchain with Bitcoin, then for the police to actually figure out who it is that is taking the ransomware payment is very difficult. Even though now there are tools by which we can actually do some investigation, we can eventually connect the address to a person by going through the entire blockchain and looking at their other activities, and eventually they are going to have to go to some exchange where they have to actually exchange their Bitcoin for real money, so for fiat currency, and that's when they have to do KYC. And that's how we often figure out who the person is behind a particular address. But if the person never converts his Bitcoin to a currency, then we actually may not be able to figure out who they are. And there is also another thing in Bitcoin and other blockchains, is that something called a mixer. So you can actually have a mixing service which takes money from many sources and then mix it around and then give it to many destinations. So that's when even tracking the sequence of transactions from one address to the other becomes very difficult. So it is, therefore we say that Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. provides you pseudo anonymity. So it's not a real anonymity, because sometimes we are able to uncover by looking at the sequence of behavior, etc. But many times we are not able to uncover who the person is, and therefore we are actually having problem in solving many things that are that are avoiding the law, like money laundering law or terrorist financing law. There is this kind of or any other, like ransomware payments. All these kind of problems that comes to the police, they are often having problems solving them because of this. The other reason why it is harder to solve is because the Bitcoin has no border. So which means that money can go from one address which is in India to another address which is in China, where the local police will not have any jurisdiction, and therefore they will have a problem. Now, now what we want to say in this talk is that why is it that crypto has become less of a payment instrument? So The reason why it became less of a payment instrument, we already saw in my previous set of questions that I asked. As you saw, that the transaction rate of Bitcoin or Ethereum, etc., are so low that I cannot create a real payment system, real world payment system with them. So many people use crypto as a matter of store of value than a medium of exchange or medium of payment. And because it is now being used as a store of value, it has become like gold or expensive jewelry, etc., that people are storing Bitcoin, etc., by buying them with real money, with a fiat currency, and then keeping it in their wallet for future, because the price goes up. Although the price is volatile, the price has gone up and down, but they people who believe in this crypto, etc., they believe that it will actually continue to grow, even though sometime temporarily it will go down, even though there is no proof or there is no guarantee that it will actually continue to go up. But in recent time, in the last few months, because of the support of cryptocurrency by Trump and the winning of election by Trump, etc., the price of Bitcoin, etc., has gone up pretty high. But that doesn't mean that it will stay like that, because it is very speculative, and therefore it may come down. But people who are actually wanting to avoid law enforcement, they are actually trying to use crypto as a medium of storing value, or actually transferring ill-gotten fund into from one country to the other. Or also they are using various schemes to actually make people think that they can actually make a profit by investing in certain schemes, but those schemes are often Ponzi schemes and so on. So therefore, lots of crimes are happening with crypto and blockchain. And 2 years ago, 2-3 years ago, there was a lot of buzz around the idea of a metaverse, which currently, people are not talking about metaverse much, because last 1.5 years, the people are only talking about LLMs and AI and so on. Therefore, this entire idea of metaverse has kind of taken a back seat. But we have seen that metaverse also was being targeted by cyber criminals, because of the anonymity afforded to by the metaverse. And then you will also hear the term Web3, decentralized web. So that is also another thing that we can talk about. So I already explained to you what is a cryptocurrency blockchain. So Bitcoin is a canonical example of a cryptocurrency blockchain, right? So of all the blockchains, Bitcoin was the first. Bitcoin is probably the most well-known. The technology of Bitcoin established the idea of a blockchain, and technology of Bitcoin is rather robust, right? So and compared to the other crypto currencies, even though Bitcoin as it is does not have a lot of flexibility. For example, you cannot automate a lot of transactions in Bitcoin. In Ethereum, for example, you can actually create a smart contract. Smart contracts are basically programs. A program that will say that if A gets so much money, then a part of this money goes to B, and another part of this money goes to C, right? So you can actually completely automate that. So as soon as A will get that amount of money, it will automatically execute the smart contract to make that move of money from A's account to B and C. In Bitcoin, you cannot do this kind of arbitrary automation, or you cannot do something like, every month on the first day of the month, so much Bitcoin will go into this account, right? this kind of automation is not possible in Bitcoin as such, because Bitcoin does not have a scripting language that powerful. It has a simple scripting language, but it does not have a very powerful Turing complete scripting language. But Ethereum or Solidity, etc. Sorry, not Solidity is the language of Ethereum. The Solana, etc. They actually have a scripting language that are Turing complete, and therefore you can actually create arbitrary automation of transfer of cryptocurrency on an automated basis, not necessarily by human intervention. So anyway, so crypto is a blockchain based monetary system in which the money is created inside the inside this system, and it is supposed to be not connected to the fiat currency, right? It is supposed to actually replace fiat currency, but that did not happen. What happened is people realized after a while that, oh, this Bitcoin thing is very cool. I can actually mine some Bitcoins, but not a lot of people can mine them because they do not have enough hardware, but they may want to own some Bitcoin. So why not I sell them some Bitcoin that I have mined? Now, how do I sell them? Because they do not have any money that is in the Bitcoin network. So now I have to create a touch point between the real world money and the Bitcoin, right? Because I do not have a way to give somebody a Bitcoin without exchanging something for it. And if he is not giving me any service, I can actually, if he wants to give me some service, for example, there was a guy who bought a pizza for 80 Bitcoins or something in 2010, right? So, but not many organizations or companies were accepting Bitcoin as a payment. So only way somebody can actually get some Bitcoin is by giving a miner some real money, some fiat currency, and that's when the idea of exchanges took birth, right? Because now if I cannot mine, but I also want some Bitcoin, I will give my real money, real world money, my fiat currency to the miner, and the miner will give me some Bitcoin. I can then either use that Bitcoin for something if there is something available in Bitcoin, or I can actually sell that Bitcoin again to a third party, right? So this way I can actually get my interchange between cryptocurrency and fiat currency, and that's how the whole exchange businesses came about. So now let's see what kind of crimes are happening in crypto. So majority of the crimes are money laundering, gambling, Ponzi scheme, ransomware and extortion, and dark web payments, right? So money laundering, so you know that, when you go to the bank, you have to do a KYC, right? When you go to any kind of financial entity like a stock broker or something, by regulation of the country, you have to give a full-fledged KYC. You have to show your Aadhaar, you have to show your PAN, you have to do probably a fingerprint. You have to give various documents, your proof of address, all proof of your income, etc., in order to actually make sure that for the financial entity to make sure that you are not using ill-gotten money. You are not if you are going to do money laundering, you can be caught, etc., etc. So that's the what is called PMLA, right? Prevention of Money Laundering Act, or CTF, the payment to terrorists, CFT, and all that stuff, right? So these are difficult to do in a fiat currency, because in fiat currency, whatever you do, it will have to be you are KYC'd, so everybody knows who you are. So what people have done is that they have gone to do this with with Bitcoin and Ethereum or other things. Like, for example, there is another one called Tron, that is most common cryptocurrency used by Indian criminals that we are seeing. Also, nowadays people are also using something called stable coin. So money laundering is one of the malicious behavior. Gambling is like, if you want to gamble now, if the gambling is illegal in a country, then you cannot gamble in real currency, because you cannot make bank payments and so on, and leave a trace of your gambling. So you can actually do gambling in cryptocurrency. You can also tell people that you have a very nice cryptocurrency, and if you it will increase in value, etc. And then you can create a nice Ponzi scheme for basically, defrauding people with money. You can also get payments. People who are actually attacking, doing cyber attack and putting ransomware on your system, they are asking for money in cryptocurrency so that they can not be traced back, or various other extortion payments can also be demanded in cryptocurrency. And in the dark web, there are various contraband substances that are actually sold in the dark web, and you will actually see them, that they're asking for payments in cryptocurrency. Now, when the police wants to investigate one of these cases, money laundering case or a Ponzi scheme case or ransomware case, extortion case, and so on, they are having problem because of the pseudo anonymity in this cryptocurrency blockchains. But now there are tools like, we have a tool developed at our place called Blockstash, but there are tools in the market. For example, TMR Labs tool, Markle Science tool, or chain analysis tool. These tools are there who do an enormous amount of data mining, enormous amount of AI ML techniques to actually figure out, how the money is flowing from where the ransomware was accepted to where the ransomware amount has been transferred into fiat currency. Because eventually the guy, the criminal, cannot do much with the cryptocurrency except keeping it as a store of value. But keeping it as a store of value for too long in the same address is probably not good idea, because there is a risk associated with getting caught, or somebody actually again doing a cyber attack on the blockchain and actually taking their money, like what happened to WazirX in the recently. So therefore sometimes they are actually eventually going to an exchange to get a fiat currency. And when they go to exchange, the exchanges in countries like India or other countries, by regulation, has to ask their identity, their KYC. Although we have seen Indian exchanges, they are actually doing business without doing proper KYC. Money has gone from India to China through these exchanges. WazirX was one such exchange, but eventually, the government cracked down on them, and now they are trying. Government is trying to make them compliant with KYC rules, etc. So eventually, if the attacker goes to an exchange and asks for ask for fiat currency in exchange of their crypto, and the crypto is ill-gotten, then through these tools, we actually often can trace them and then eventually catch them. So that's what we have been trying to do. Now, here I just want to tell you, how much money is being used for this kind of activities, right? So as you can see, in 2023, there were $24 billion that is known to have been used for this kind of criminal activities in all cryptocurrency, not just Bitcoin, but all kinds of cryptocurrency. And among this, if you see the sanctioned entity, like now there are many sanctioned entities in Russia, in Iran, in North Korea. There are addresses associated with sanctioned entities. So payment to sanctioned entities is also considered a crime. And we are seeing a large volume of this, criminal activities is actually payment to sanctioned entities. So even if you pay to a Russian entity, that is also considered a crime. So similarly, if you look at this ransomware payments, that's rather small. It's the purple color. It's rather small. And then if you look at the fraud shop, that is slightly bigger. And then you see the scams. The scam part is rather slightly larger. And then you can see darknet markets are also very very small amount, like probably a $1 or $2 billion, $1 billion or so. So the amount of activities, amount of money that has changed hands in this kind of criminal activities in 2023 was slightly lesser than in 2022, when it was about $40 billion. And this is actually an underestimate, right? Because this is what the chain analysis figured out, but they are not figuring out everything, right? So this is you have to consider this as the lower limit of what has been happening. And then you can see that transaction volume by asset type. You can see in this thing that you can see that the stable coin, use of stable coin. I will talk to you about what is stablecoin slightly later, but stable coins are slightly different from cryptocurrency, but they are also exchanged on the cryptocurrency network. So stablecoin is actually now major type of asset that is used for this kind of criminal activities. And then you will see Bitcoin is actually still occupying about 25% of this activities. And then Ethereum is about probably less than 10%. Other type of coins is even less than like 50%. But more than 50% of these criminal activities are happening with stable coins. The stable coins are basically, stable coins are very different from cryptocurrency. So stable coin is, suppose I have $1 million and I say, okay, so I'm gonna I have $1 million in the bank, so I'm going to I'm going to create a currency, create a digital currency, which I'll sell one currency I'll sell for $1, and then I can create 1 million this 1 million of this currency, and I can sell them for $1 each. So I can have $1 million. The reason why I need $1 million in the bank, it's called a reserve requirement. Is suppose people are actually actually fed up with my currency and they want to get their money back, right? So they come back to my exchange on the same day. All the people, all my clients come back on the same day and ask for their money back, and they are ready to return their stable coin. So if I do not have $1 million in my bank, then I will not be able to pay them, and there will be a failure, bank failure. There will be a payment failure, and that is why the regulation requires that if you are going to issue this digital currency. Now remember that this digital currency is issued. They are not mined, or they are not created with proof of work, proof of stake, etc. They are issued at will. So I can actually say, okay, here is a cryptocurrency. It is the reason why it is a cryptocurrency is because I have signed it with my digital signature, and any other party which accepts this cryptocurrency, accept this currency, can accept it, and then they can come back to me, and I will give them the equivalent of that money. So that's how the stablecoin business works. So stablecoin is also an online payment created for online payment system, but stablecoins are actually not legal tender, because no government has said that, okay, instead of us printing the money, I'm allowing XYZ, some private entity, to create this currency. So therefore, stablecoin is still not a legal tender, but you can use it as a medium of exchange. For example, if you bought 1,000 stablecoin for $1,000, and there is something that is sold online for $1,000, you can pay it by the stable coin because it is equivalent to $1,000, and that guy can go back to the original originator of that stable coin and say, give me, I am giving you back these stable coins, you give me back $1,000. So that is why stable coin system may work. But now we are seeing that a lot of these illegal activities are happening using stable coin. So stablecoin is a major issue for many countries. Many countries, like in the US, stablecoins are pretty common now. Like you have Tether, you have Circle. There are also various stablecoins. Now, what the US or private companies are doing, for example, Tether, let's say it issues 10 million Tether. Tether is a stablecoin, so it should have $10 million in the bank, but it doesn't. So what it is doing is that it is saying that I have so much money in the bank, and then I have these company papers, I have this, I have that. So I have, if everybody comes back to me for redeeming their Tether for real dollar, I will have some way of giving it, but I do not have it in liquid cash. So the government is not happy with that. Government is saying that your other assets that you are saying is equivalent may not be liquid. They may not be encashable very quickly. So therefore, if you are going to, if every Tether holder comes back to you on the same day and say that give me back my money, I am giving back my Tether, you won't be able to give them, and therefore there will be a crash of Tether's value, and customers who hold Tether will lose money. This happened to another stable coin called Terra. Terra was a stable coin that crashed because it was supported not by real money, but it was supported by another cryptocurrency called Luna. So Terra and Luna both crashed, and therefore everybody who held those stable coin or that cryptocurrency actually lost all their money. It was the person who was responsible is now running away from the law enforcement in South Korea. So this is something that can happen if you decide to create a stable coin and you cannot pay people when they want their money back. You can go to you can become a criminal. So that is what stablecoin is all about. Stablecoin is a major concern, not only because it is being used for crime, but also it will compete with real money in the country, and therefore it will actually have the central bank of the country will have less control on the economy, which will not be necessarily a good thing. Although some people might think it's a good thing, but it's probably not a good idea. But and then there is also the crime category, right? So here you see that various crime categories and which currency is used in that crime category. So for example, darknet market, almost 100% is using Bitcoin. But if you look at the payment to sanction entity and sanction jurisdiction, you see majority, more than 70-80% is done by stablecoin. Scams are about 25% Bitcoin and then little bit Ethereum, but more on stablecoin. On the other hand, ransomware, it's about 90% or at least 80% is Bitcoin, and then rest is Ethereum, not so much stablecoin. So these are the kind of things that various crime categories and the various asset types. So, and then we have another problem we are seeing. Those are intentional crimes, right? So they are not hacking or anything. They are just doing criminal activities using Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency because of the pseudo anonymity that is available in those networks, right? So, and they are hoping that these tools like chain analysis or our tool, they are not good enough yet to actually catch all possible cases, especially when they use something like a mixer service, this mixer service are actually there to obscure the source and destination of cryptocurrency. So now but now there is another problem. which is big, and this is not happening in Bitcoin because, as I said, that Bitcoin does not do much automation. Bitcoin is rather old-fashioned. They have a very simple scripting language, so that scripting does not lead to a huge amount of automation. But there are other things such as Ethereum, etc., which are using smart contracts. They are too clever, and then using smart contract, they are actually automating a lot of activities, including cross-chain activities. So suppose you have Ethereum, but you want to get another type of cryptocurrency, let's say Tron. So then you have to actually move some assets in your Ethereum network and move some assets in your Tron network. These are two different networks. So then there are something called bridges. Bridges are nothing but smart contracts. So these smart contracts are written by humans. They are like any other software, but smart contracts are very hard to write because they are also, executed in a concurrent fashion, because a lot of different entities are executing these smart contracts. So this concurrency often lead to various kinds of security bugs, and these attackers, cyber attackers, especially those from North Korea, has become really good at it. So they actually figure out very easily when there is a smart contract that is very that is very very vulnerable to cyber attack. So, for example, in 2022, this happened like in the Poly network. It had a bridge. The bridge was bridging two different cryptocurrencies. So, in the bridge was nothing but a smart contract in which you can lock some of your this crypto and then release some of the other crypto, right? So that you can do a transfer between two cryptocurrencies. So that bridge was holding a lot of cryptocurrency, and these guys found a bug in the bridge, and they drained the entire bridge, and $600 million worth of crypto was stolen. Some of it was actually later returned, but that's a different story. Then we are seeing a lot of other attacks, and most recent one is this Indian exchange WazirX. They actually kept 45% of their cryptocurrency in a wallet. Wallet is nothing but a smart contract again, and hackers actually hacked into them, and then they drained $230 million worth of cryptocurrency. And this is well, it is not known whether really North Korea, the so where was I when I disconnected? So did I talk about mining pools?
11:14, time 11:14.
Yeah. So
15 minutes. Sir, it was the
did I?
slide of voice rec. Yes, sir. This slide. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Let me start from here. Okay. So sorry about that. So WazirX hack, we talked about that. WazirX was hacked. Most recently, there were 4 signatures needed in one of the hot wallets to make transfer, and 4 humans were supposed to sign this. One was an outside agency, which was one of their wallet security provider, and the other 3 was inside WazirX. And when the request came to all of them, they are claiming that they were shown a different screen than they were and they were believed to actually be. So actually, this much money was being transferred was not apparently clear to them. So they are all signed. So it's not like one person signed, but it's all 4 were shown in their screen different transaction than what they actually signed, and therefore $230 million worth of SHIB and other coins, including Ethereum, etc., were drained from their wallet. So what we want to tell you is that earlier when I was talking about these crimes are actually not using any vulnerability in the technology of blockchain, right? It's actually the blockchain is working perfectly fine. People are using the anonymity of the blockchain system, of the permissionless blockchain system that they were using to hide their identity and do various things, hoping that none of the tools like analysis or other tools will be able to track them back to their real identity, which often is true, but in many cases, people have been caught eventually because they have to actually encash their money in a real exchange. Now in the last these slides, what I'm talking about is not a crime in that sense. Here, the criminals are really cyber hackers, like Lazarus Group from North Korea. So what they did was they find smart contract vulnerabilities, and many of the software is written. Much of the automation, like transfer of funds, transfer of one type of cryptocurrency into another cryptocurrency network, etc., are done through smart contracts. So therefore, these smart contracts, if they have vulnerabilities, then attackers can actually exploit them and then drain money from those smart contracts. And that's what happened to in many of these cases. And these are only a few examples that we are showing here. This is not an exhaustive cases, but what happened in WazirX was also most probably a vulnerability exploitation. If the full story is not clear yet, obviously hackers did display, if what they're claiming is true, although some people suspect that it was actually an insider job by WazirX owners themselves, but that is not proven either. But in any case, all these things happen because of technology vulnerability. So technology vulnerabilities. So this picture is there to actually explain to you what are the different places these vulnerabilities crop up that the cyber attackers can exploit or have exploited for gain, for their own gain. So here you see that this is a mind map. This mind map shows, the blockchain cybersecurity vulnerabilities can have 5 different types. I mean, it can have many more types, but we are showing 5 different types. So one is obviously most common is smart contract vulnerabilities. That is vulnerabilities in automation of transactions that people do, and nowadays more and more complex automation are done, and therefore they have their complex programs, and therefore a lot of vulnerabilities have been found, and a lot of vulnerabilities have been actually exploited. In many cases, millions of dollars have been, hundreds of millions of dollars have been taken.
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
In the chat.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yes.
So there is something in the chat.
Amrita Rana, e-wallet, how it works.
Okay, so I actually missed, since I rejoined, I cannot see the chat messages because they were from before, I think. So the question is that how does one
What is e-wallet and how it works?
right? I think your microphone has a lot of disturbance. It's getting it's making a lot of white noise. But if the question is if how the wallet works, so the wallet is a program that you can have on your device or on your browser. So this program actually connects to the blockchain, and when it connects to the blockchain, it basically becomes a member of the network of nodes. So it can actually listen to all the broadcast transactions. Every time a transaction happens, it is broadcast. Similarly, if you do a transaction through your wallet, then it will also that information will also be broadcast. And when you want to make a transaction through your wallet, the private key corresponding to your public key, your public key is your wallet's identity. So how the blockchain recognizes that your wallet, it's through the public key. Corresponding public key, private key is usually hidden inside your wallet and protected by a pin or something, right? Protected by some kind of a code. So only you can actually open your wallet, even if somebody has your device. If they do not know your PIN or some kind of a code, passcode, they cannot actually effectively use your wallet. So when you type in your passcode or something, then you can use your private key. Your private key is retrieved, and then when you want to make a transaction, the transaction has to be signed by your private key. So when you are using your wallet and you are trying to pay somebody some coins, then your wallet automatically creates a transaction in the right format and uses your private key to sign the transaction and then broadcast the transaction to the entire network, because it is connected to your network, right? Because it's basically becomes a node into the in the entire network. Then if you shut down your wallet, then it is no longer, you are no longer connected for them. So that's the idea of the wallet. Now, since the wallet, if you keep your wallet connected to the network, your wallet continues to listen to all the broadcasts, right? And your wallet can actually know when the transaction that you had put, you had broadcast, has become part of a block. Because until a transaction becomes part of a block permanently, you will not be able to consider that transaction to be final, right? So the transaction is final when a block includes your transaction and becomes part of the chain. And in fact, in Bitcoin, that is not enough. In Bitcoin, 6 blocks has to be built. Like, so not only your transaction should be in a block. After your block, there will be 6 more blocks in the chain. When 5 more blocks in the chain, so total 6 blocks, including the block in which your transaction is there, has to be built before you are kind of sure, probabilistically highly sure, that your transaction is finalized, right? So that's how the wallet works. Now there are 2 kinds of wallets: hot wallets and cold wallets. So hot wallets are wallets that are actually connected to the network, and therefore there is a slight chance that your wallet may be hacked. Since you're connected to the network, you are probably vulnerable to your machine may be vulnerable to some kind of access. And through that access, if your wallet software is not very good, and your wallet software has vulnerabilities, your wallet may be hacked and somebody might steal your private key and therefore have full access to your money that is in the wallet. But there is also cold wallet. Cold wallet, once you transfer money from hot wallet to cold wallet, that is money. By money, I mean the digital piece of information that indicates your money. Then the cold wallet gets completely disconnected. Usually cold wallets are in hardware, specialized hardware. So normally people who have a lot of cryptocurrency, they keep most of their cryptocurrency in cold wallet. So if they need to spend that money or exchange that crypto, then they will connect the cold wallet to the actual network and become a hot wallet. So that is how it is. Now I saw just one question here, that does ledger and the wallet work at the same way? Not so. So a wallet is actually ideally a person. So when you have a Bitcoin wallet or any cryptocurrency wallet, you are going to actually you are supposed to keep the cryptocurrency, that is Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency, in your wallet, and this is basically called self custody. So you transfer. So you transfer the money from the blockchain. From basically your address is your wallet's address should be the only address connected to that cryptocurrency. Your cryptocurrency belongs to that address. But many exchanges, what they do, because common people, like those, let's say I do not want to get involved in creating a wallet on my phone and all that stuff, but I still want to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever. So I can go to an exchange and give money to the exchange. The exchange, they will do is that they will create a web page for you, like an account, like a net banking account, and they will actually show that there is so many Bitcoins in your name. But actual Bitcoin is associated with an address of that exchange. So that is called a custodian. That is called a custodian wallet, which means that the wallet is the company, the exchange, like WazirX or CoinDCX. Their wallet has your Bitcoin, but they are acknowledging through that website that whatever money is there in their wallet, one of the Bitcoin or two of the Bitcoin, etc., are belong to you because you paid for it, right? But if that exchange gets attacked, then from their wallet, if the money gets drained, then you will also lose it, because it's not in your wallet, it's in their wallet. So if their wallet gets attacked, then your money will also go. That's what happened to WazirX customers. 45% of the money that WazirX wallet had, this money that they had in their wallet was actually belonging to their customers. So if they were customers who did not know how to keep the money in their own wallet, in their own phone or device, they actually gave the responsibility to WazirX that you keep my money, you just acknowledge that I have this many of this currency, right? So now when they lost the money, they said, well, for every so they did not care, because they did not distinguish that this currency was belonging to Ram and this belonged to Shram. They said that I have lost 45% of the money, so Ram and Sam will both lose 45% of their holdings, even though Ram and Sam are not responsible. Only responsibility of Ram and Sam is that Ram and Sam did not work hard enough to actually keep the money in their own wallet. They trusted WazirX to keep the money in WazirX's wallet, and that's what the custodian wallet is. If you have self-custody wallet, then you will actually associate your address with the coins that you own, right? So that's the difference. Now, wallet is not the ledger. The ledger is in cryptocurrency ecosystem, or let's say in Bitcoin, there are two types of nodes. One is called a full node. Full node means the nodes that actually keep the entire ledger, the entire blockchain, the entire history. But entire history of the blockchain is several gigabytes, right? So therefore, you really cannot expect that everybody's phone will contain the entire history of the blockchain. So the regular wallets, which are not full nodes, they only keep the summary information. And they only watch if they're connected to the network, they will watch what is happening in the network, and anything that is associated with their own address, they will obviously reflect that in their wallet. But the full nodes are usually the ones that continue to. Oh, I got disconnected again, or what? Hello?
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
This is Adarsh from SEBI. Tomorrow, that MPOC implementation wala meeting.
Yeah, I got the email. I'm in a talk. So sorry, that was a different call. Looked like Siddharth's number. So sorry. So yeah. So that's the difference between the ledger and the wallet. Right. So then I saw another question that was asking like whether cryptocurrency or digital currency is going to replace. Let me see what the question was. Yeah, will digital money completely replace the hard cash? And RBI will not keep reserve. Do central banks have any sort of control over cryptocurrency? Okay, so very good question. So digital money, now there could be multiple types of digital money. One is, of course, cryptocurrency that we were talking about. Another thing is called stable coin. So I think I explained the stable coin concept. It is actually created based on reserves, right? So if I have $1 million, I can actually issue 1 million stable coin, each worth $1. So anybody can give me $1. I will give them a digital stable coin. So that's how the Tether, Circle, etc. they work. Now, none of them are approved by any of the central banks, right? So these are totally private money. It's totally based on your trust on the ecosystem, right? Now, central banks are now creating what is called CBDC, or central bank digital currency. So Reserve Bank already has piloted in 2022 December onwards. They have actually a pilot central bank digital currency or CBDC called e-rupee. So in this currency, actually you can actually go to one of the participating bank, like if you have an account in SBI or ICICI, HDFC, or Yes Bank or Bank of Baroda, etc. You can go to your manager and you can say that I want to have an wallet of CBDC. So if they create a CBDC wallet for you, then you can actually go use that to actually get some digital version of rupee into your CBDC wallet. And then you can actually use it at some retailers. Not many retailers are taking it, but some retailers are taking, or you can also give money to your friends and family if they also have CBDC account or CBDC this thing. Now, CBDC is, for example, US is not creating CBDC. There is no digital version of dollar, but others are creating digital version of digital version. For example, China has yuan as a CBDC. India has rupee as CBDC. Euro yet does not have CBDC, even though they have done a number of experiments. I think Thailand also experimented with CBDC. Now, so there are a number of CBDCs. Now, I think that one of the reason why central banks started doing CBDC is actually to make sure that the stable coins. Okay, I have too much noise. I think I'm getting from Mrs. Aradhya and somebody else. Can you mute your microphone, Aradhya or Aruganti? Hello.
No, maybe she is unaware. I think she is unaware about it. Okay.
So I think that she doesn't know that she's unmuted, but it's creating a lot of white noise. But so in response to the question,
Sir, just 1 minute. We are trying to reach to her. Just 1 minute, sir.
okay,
Sir, you continue. We are trying to reach to her.
okay. So Aradhya, sorry, the question that was asked about whether digital currency will replace hard currency, I think that is unlikely to happen in our lifetime because you know, digital currency is not so easy to use for everybody. There are people who are actually not able to handle digital payments, even UPI. So for them, using digital currency is very difficult. So one of the thing that digital currency, central banks are introducing digital currency like CBDC, is not because they want to replace the cash, even though that would be nice for them, because printing cash and transferring cash throughout the country from the places they are from the print, then keeping track of the counterfeit currency, keeping destroying the paper currency when they get too soiled. All these things are very expensive. It's actually runs into thousands of crores to actually maintain the paper currency system. And therefore, RBI would actually probably like to go completely digital to reduce the cost, because digital currency will not soil, and they are harder to make fake currency out of them, and also it will be easier to track and all that stuff. But there may not be enough taker for that kind of usage of what we call retail CBDC. Retail CBDC is not necessarily going to be very convenient for everybody. So however, what can happen is that since government has no control on cryptocurrency ecosystem because it's completely private. First of all, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., is not even Indian origin. You can access them from India because you can access them if you have internet connection. But actually, you cannot really do something. Of course, Indian government can ban cryptocurrency exchanges in India. Therefore, it will be very hard for common people to buy cryptocurrency. They can people who actually have foreign currency remittance, etc., they can still buy cryptocurrency from foreign exchanges. But at least then the government will know, because foreign currency remittance is done to RBI, right? So the government will know who is remitting how much foreign currency to buy cryptocurrency, etc. So therefore, by banning all the cryptocurrency exchanges in the country, government can have some control. However, people still do hawala and other things, so people may still buy cryptocurrency through illegal means by giving rupee here to somebody and then getting dollar from their relatives abroad and then use that to buy cryptocurrency, etc. That is also entirely possible. But if that happens, then the government will have less visibility on what is the cryptocurrency ownership and activity in the country. So therefore, government is unlikely to ban the cryptocurrency exchanges in India, so that all the cryptocurrency businesses, anybody who actually buys or sells cryptocurrency will mostly go through the Indian exchanges, which India government has now strictly enforced KYC norms, and therefore India government will have any better idea about whether who is buying cryptocurrency and to what extent. Plus, India government is also levying income tax on any kind of gains in the cryptocurrency still, which basically they would lose if they ban the crypto exchanges here, and people are doing it underground through other means. So therefore, India government is probably now all crypto exchanges in India are to be from last year. It has made a rule that under the PMLA, under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, that all cryptocurrency exchanges must be registered with the Financial Intelligence Unit of the Ministry of Finance, and Financial Intelligence Unit will know the cryptocurrency activities of all the exchanges, and therefore they will also know whether somebody is actually buying cryptocurrency, what amount they are buying, what is their current ownership, if they are making any profit, if they are making profit, whether they are paying taxes. All this information should be available with the FIU. That doesn't mean that there are people who are doing it in other manner by avoiding Indian exchanges, by doing hawalas and all that stuff. But majority of the common people will actually, if they want to participate in the cryptocurrency, then they will do this, go through the Indian exchanges, which gives government better visibility. No control, but visibility. The other issue that why I think that hard currency will not be replaced by cryptocurrency is because cryptocurrency is not a good payment instrument. As I said in the beginning, that the exchange, the transaction rate of cryptocurrency is very low. Bitcoin can only do 6-7 transactions per second. Ethereum can do maybe 20-25 transactions per second, and so on. So Solana can do more, but Solana has been attacked so many times that nobody should trust Solana as a good place to do this. So I think that cryptocurrency as a medium of payment is never going to work. It can be used as a speculative instrument. Like if I want to buy some cryptocurrency, hoping that it will become much larger in price in the near future. So, and I can sell it to make some money. That kind of activity is going on in cryptocurrency and as a store of value. So some people are thinking of this as a kind of a digital gold or a store of value. Even that is also very risky because you do not know what the government is going to do. They might ban cryptocurrency. They might declare cryptocurrency exchanges or the operators illegal. There could be a lot of things that can happen. So unless you have a additional excess money that you do not need immediately, or for you can I would not advise to invest in cryptocurrency if you have small amount of money, because then you will be better off in other type of investments around equities and debt funds and all that stuff. So that is the thing. So in summary, in answer to the last question that I saw was that of course it's my opinion, but I think that it's unlikely that the cryptocurrency will actually replace cash ever in the future. But CBDC, the central bank digital currency, can potentially replace cash if everybody becomes cell phone savvy and digitally savvy in the country. Then they can replace, but that is also unlikely to happen in our lifetime. It probably will take several hundred years before all Indians become at par in their education and in their awareness awareness of how to keep their phones safe and secure from perpetrators, from cyber hackers and all that stuff. So until then, I think we'll have maybe some activities in digital, but a lot of it will be done through fiat currency, hard cash, and also the bank-to-bank transfer like UPI. UPI is actually doing pretty well in terms of as a digital payment ecosystem. It's not cryptocurrency. It's not currency. It's not money transfer in the sense of cash transfer or cryptocurrency transfer. It's actually a messaging system. UPI is not a money. Money does not move through UPI. Money is moved in the back end by the bank. The UPI is a messaging system by which you are telling that I want to give so much money from this UPI address to that UPI address. Rest is taken care of in the back end by the banks and NPCI. So that's a messaging system, and that messaging system actually works pretty well. So I think that is another point that why in India this is unlikely to actually succeed, the crypto and all digital currency to succeed, because UPI is actually pretty popular and doing very well. So any other questions? Hello?
Is there any question from participant side? Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
And then I I closed my, let me open my. Okay, so we were talking about this slide. So we were talking about a kind of like a mind map of the various ways the blockchain technology has various kinds of vulnerabilities, and we talked about vulnerabilities that happen in the smart contract. Smart contract are like any other software; they have bugs, and there are various kinds of bugs. Concurrency bugs are more common, but there are other kinds of bugs. Then we see network vulnerability because you have blockchain system is maintained by network of participants of network of computers which are distributed around the world, right? So, for example, Bitcoin ecosystem is run by about 5,000 full nodes, but these nodes are actually all over the world, right? So and they're connected over the internet, and therefore they are actually to broadcast a transaction or to broadcast a newly created block so that everybody comes in sync with each other requires that the entire network becomes is fully connected, and the entire network is connected. Now if the network gets partitioned in some way or the other, either intentional partition or because there could be an undersea cable cut or many other reasons, then the nodes that are on one side of the network and the nodes that are on the other side of the network, they are going to actually have a lack of synchronization, and therefore for a while the information that is available to the nodes here are not necessarily information that are available to the other side, and vice versa, and therefore some activities may happen that two contradictory transactions may actually take place and get part of the blockchain. The two chains on both sides of the partition will also be out of sync, and when the partition becomes comes together, then this has to be resync, and lot of the transactions that were done will become invalid. And in the meantime, somebody might have actually done something that is assuming that the transaction went through, and he might have actually given the service or given the goods for the payment, but the payment now has become invalid because network has now fully become connected, and the information that was taken as correct has now found a contradictory thing in the other side, and therefore become invalid. So these kind of things can happen. Mining pool vulnerabilities is actually so miners, they actually create pools because they do not want to. Mining is so expensive that one miner may not be able to always get solve the hash puzzle, and therefore they might actually come together. And when they create the pools, they will actually may actually have members of the pool. They are selfish, or they actually can block each other and not tell that a puzzle has been solved. So thereby depriving the pool members from the legitimate gain that they might have had if they were all honest. So that can happen. Also, consensus mechanism may have multiple different vulnerabilities. Like for example, in Bitcoin, in the proof of work, if more than 51% or 51% of the nodes become malicious, then the consensus process will break. In Byzantine fault tolerant, if more than one third nodes become malicious, then the consensus process will break, and things like that. There could be other type of attacks on the consensus process. Client side vulnerability is that when the wallet gets attacked, because wallet is also a software, they might have vulnerabilities, and that can be exploited. So there are multiple different vulnerabilities. Network vulnerabilities, as I said, that the network may be partitioned and temporarily create lack of synchronization between the parts of the network, and creating false information for a while. There could be attacks by which multiple civil nodes, the nodes that are fake participants, they might actually become connected to you, and then you might try to broadcast some information, but they are always going to those nodes. The way broadcast works in blockchain is that when a node wants to send an information to every node, it sends it to its neighbors, and the neighbors in turn send it to the others. So if your neighbors are malicious, then they are going to not send your information, spread your information, and thereby blocking you from being a proper participant. Your transactions will not go through. If you solve the hash puzzle, that will not go through, and so on. There could be DDoS attacks. There could be attacks on like exchanges, DDoS attacks. So the transactions will become slow, or transactions will not go through at a critical moment, and so on and so forth. So these kind of things can happen. In the consensus mechanism, as I said, that if 51% becomes rogue in the case of proof of work, then the consensus will break down. There could be cases when conflicting transactions, that same currency, you are trying to give it to A and to B, and these two conflicting information was trying to go to do different blocks. So there could be a race condition, that which block becomes the final block before, and then the other one becomes invalid. There could be alternate history attack, where somebody actually, some miner, in order to not only get some mining reward, they might also try to oust another already existing, the latest existing block. They can actually build two consecutive blocks before they announce it. So in the meantime, the other block that was actually became the latest block will become obsolete if that happens. So that way you can actually create alternate history attack. Mining pool, as I said, that selfish mining could be done, like some miners in the mining pool might actually hide newly generated blocks. Somebody might bribe some of the miners to actually make the mining pool useless, and things like that. And in the client vulnerability, somebody might exploit your client, like your browser, to install a cryptojacking malware, or you can actually also get they can steal your private key from your wallet if the wallet has vulnerability, and so on. And then smart contracts can also have vulnerabilities, and the smart contract vulnerabilities have been studied very, very carefully. And as you can see that, like the CWE is the common weakness enumeration. Similarly, there is a smart contract weakness and weakness classification, or SWC. So what you are seeing on the right-hand side here is actually the vulnerability listing. It's not an exhaustive list, but it is just a snippet of all kinds of vulnerabilities that smart contracts have. Some of these vulnerabilities are rather common, and some of these vulnerabilities are rare, but there are all kinds of smart contracts have been found to have vulnerabilities. And these vulnerabilities, if you write a smart contract, of course you have to actually do a code review. You have to also test your smart contract in an isolated or on a test chain and all that stuff. But also you can have tools like Cleather, Mithril, SmartCheck, Wente, Osiris. These tools are actually static analysis tools. These tools will actually take your smart contract and try to tell you what kind of vulnerabilities your smart contract has. It may not be able to tell you everything, but it will tell you smart contracts that are common. It sometimes can actually have false positives. So when it tells you that there is a vulnerability, you have to actually simulate and check, or some other way convince yourself that it is indeed a vulnerability and not a false positive. So this is quite a bit of work. Of course, the other thing that is happening in the blockchain ecosystem is that you have this kind of social socially motivated illicit crimes like money laundering and scamming and gambling, etc. Those we already talked about. So other type of attacks, you can have insider attack. So the in a permission blockchain system where you think that there are no problem because it is a permission system, there are participants whose KYC has been done and they have been their digital certificates are used for identifying them and so on and so forth. But somebody might actually go rogue and there may be insider attack. There may be attacks on your DNS resolution system, which may actually make your blockchain. If it is actually sometimes blockchain nodes are identified using an URL rather than using IP address. So in that case, one can actually attack the DNS system. Private key leakage is, of course, there is always that possibility. And then you can also have an attack on the certificate authority, which provides digital certificate in a permission blockchain. So the question is, can we detect such attacks? So I think we are running out of time, so we'll not go too much into details of this, but our lab has done extensive work on the machine learning techniques for machine learning based techniques to detect various kind of activities, like not only money laundering activities or gambling activities or Ponzi scheme activities or phishing activities, etc. But also for things like rug pull. Rug pull is a process by which an attacker creates a digital asset, and then that digital asset is finally it is created, and then this digital asset is initially pumped up, like they go to the social media and talk about that digital asset, how great that is and all that stuff. People buy it, the price goes up. Then suddenly, before the people know, they actually take all the money that was used for selling the digital asset, and then they actually disappear, right? So this is called a rug pull. There is also something called wash trading. Wash trading is a process in which a digital asset is created, and then the same person under different identity buys and sells it continuously. So therefore, people think that, oh, this thing is in a high demand because and when something seems to be in a high demand, the price keeps increasing. So the same person who created the digital asset continues to do this to pump up the price, and then eventually they actually dump it. So that's a wash trading. So there are lots of different activities that goes on in the blockchain ecosystem, and we have actually done quite a bit of work on using ML machine learning algorithms. So we'll skip this because this will take a whole hour to actually go through this. But there are lots of things that you can do, because in permissionless blockchain, the entire blockchain information anybody can download. So if you download entire Bitcoin's blockchain from the beginning, like from the Genesis block of 2009 to now, then you can actually gain a huge amount of information if you already have the ability to process that amount of information and learn from the information about various types of behaviors. Various types of behaviors you learn, and in that case, you can actually tell a lot of things that are in the without applying these algorithms, you won't be able to tell. So that's what I would suggest. You can read one of these papers. We have multiple of these papers. You can actually go to blockchain.cse.iitk.ac.in. That's a website where we have a lot of this information, and you can actually read this information, and then you can actually contact us if you have any questions, or if you want to understand how we have applied this methods. We also have built a tool called Blockstash. This tool is actually for this kind of analysis, for understanding malicious behavior inside Bitcoin, inside Ethereum, and inside Tron blockchain. We are trying to add other types of blockchains into this tool, but right now these are the 3 blockchains. And we also support a lot of stable coins, like analyzing the behavior of the stablecoin users. So on the Ethereum blockchain. So that's I think I'll stop here because it's already almost 12:20, and I missed about 20 minutes in the middle. So, but I'm hoping that we can actually answer a few more questions before we stop. But if there are any more questions. Yeah, that is the correct website.
So is there any question from the participant side? If any question, no till now. Sir, just one line from my side. I have a
Yeah.
very small query that in Indian economy, I read somewhere around 60% business is unstructured. So if we move much more towards this digital transaction and all these things, then is there any impact on this unstructured parallel economy? Is it beneficiary for our economy, or this parallel business structure is not good at all? I mean,
No, so the unstructured, yeah, so you're right that India is highly unstructured economy. But if you see now that every fruit vendor, every fuchkawalas and all that stuff, they are all having UPI, right? So which means that anybody who is using an UPI is actually having a bank account, because without a bank account you cannot do UPI. So that means that uh, all vendors that I actually see, even fruit vendors and on the street, and even I have heard this, I haven't seen in real, but I was told that sometimes beggars are also now showing UPI QR code for payment, right? So I think that this bringing this unstructured economy, at least in the ambit of banking, has worked quite a bit with the UPI. So I think that UPI is not has become a rather surprisingly successful mechanism for peer-to-peer payments, and UPI is actually doing very well. So as I said, that now they're doing almost 20,000 transactions per second, and they're doing crores and crores of transactions in a day. So therefore, I think that UPI is doing the work of bringing a lot of this unstructured economy into its fold. However, and in order to actually have an UPI, you do not have to have a smartphone because to receive UPI payment. So a vendor who wants to receive payment, he has to go to the bank, open an account, tell the bank to get him a UPI enablement and QR code, and they can actually then use their ATM or whatever, or go to the bank to withdraw their money. So I think UPI is doing pretty well. So I don't think that we need digital currency to enable that. In fact, enabling digital currency for the unbanked. Now in India, there is also still a huge number of unbanked population, people who have no phone, or they have no smartphone. Those people will not be easily brought under the ambit of under the digital payments, even though in the CBDC, even in UPI, now they have an offline an ability to actually make payments offline also, right? So offline payments is also not, but that's a limited, like, I think I forgot the limit, but there is a limit up to which you can do also offline payments. So there is a attempt by the RBI and the government to actually bring in reach more unbanked population. But I think India is doing pretty well with respect to UPI in bringing a lot of this unstructured economy, in some kind of a digital realm.
Yes, yes. Okay, so if there is no question from other side, then we have come to the end of the session. Thank you very much, sir,
Thank
for
you.
this insightful session. Your expertise and the way you have discussed all the dimensions of blockchain, cryptocurrency, and all the associated topics. Certainly, it provides us a new perspective. And thank you very much. We are very lucky to have you in our MTV, sir. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Siddhartha
And,
was the one who contacted me, and we are in touch for a long time.
yeah.
So thanks
And
to
sir,
Siddhartha.
we are as a gesture of honor, we are displaying the one digital certificate which will be displayed on the screen, and we will be happy if you accept it.
Sure.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your valuable
Bye.
time. Okay, so respected participants, we will now we are at the end of this session, and our next session will be started from 2:30 p.m. Have a good day. Thank you.